I first met Sue Wilson the summer before last. She was doing a tour throughout the country, and she was showing, it was a free showing of her movie that she made called Broadcast Blues. The show dealt with the inequality that we have in the airwaves throughout the country. And I got involved, when Walker dropped the bomb, I became involved a lot more closely than what I had been. I'd been very active politically, but not to the extent of where everything just seemed to be an attack. So Sue contacted me. I was known as one of the people that could get the word out as far as to where important events were going on, so I did what I could to help get a crowd at the showing of the movie on the east side of Milwaukee. Now, after watching the movie, it was the first time I had seen it. I did some research on what it was about, and it was something that definitely interested me. Sue's movie, to me, pointed out how these radio stations, and a lot of them are syndicated throughout the country, how they pretty much are propaganda, places of propaganda where just one side is heard, and it's basically a monologue that has one form of ideology and totally silent of the other view. Now, Sue went into history as to, the movie Broadcast Blues goes into history from how the Fairness Doctrine was taken out under Ronald Reagan, and how things have progressively gotten worse since then. In the past, when an election of this kind of importance came up, with the Fairness Doctrine, we wouldn't have seen this just one-sided, slanted view. So it's not that we're even asking for the Fairness Doctrine to be reenacted. We're just asking for the laws that are currently in place to be followed. This isn't anything new. It's something that hasn't been followed, and we see no reason why it shouldn't be followed. It is written law. The Zappel Doctrine is very specific, that states that 60 days prior to any election, when dealing with radio stations, they need to provide equal time for both candidates of major political parties. That obviously wasn't followed, and we proved that beyond a doubt that that didn't take place. So we don't want to bring anything new into place. We just want to have the laws followed that are there to protect us. After I watched her movie in Shorewood, I was so impressed by what I saw, and it was basically an education into the radio and FCC, that I asked if she could stay in contact with me, that I would be happy to get the word out about any future showings she had. She thanked me, and anytime I had a question, she was extremely responsive. And after her tour went throughout the country, she lives in California, and she's been very active in helping other local groups empower themselves to take back the airwaves. This is something that the people of the community are involved with, because we're very concerned for where we're going. So Sue's been just fantastic as far as helping us take back our own public airwaves. What I'd like to see happen as a result of everything that we've been doing is just for some fairness. I'm not saying I want to hear Ed Schultz on the show, on the radio all day, every day, but I'd like for there to be an opportunity for both sides to be heard. And right now what we're dealing with is Zappel Doctrine. To the best of my knowledge, it doesn't involve syndicated shows on national TV. Everybody knows that we have, you have your MSNBC that leans to the left, and you have your Fox News that leans to the right. We're not dealing with that. We're dealing with a limited number of airwaves that are available to the public. I just would like to see some kind of equality, especially right before an election, because elections are so important these days that that's the one time we need as much fairness as we possibly can have. I would think that this issue of equality is one that's important to everybody, and I would encourage anybody, regardless of your political leaning, to keep things fair. Just You know, the same way that redistricting took place, and obviously it's slanted against one side right now. I'd love to see that happen on a nonpartisan basis where that power is given to somebody that doesn't have a political leaning one way or the other. This same thing applies. This is just something that needs to be fair. I'd especially encourage people that lean to the right to get involved with this, to make sure that it's not a one-sided thing, that the only way we can make things equal is if everybody gets involved, everybody has input, and we can agree to meet someplace in the middle so that it doesn't go too far the other way. I think that's just as important, is that when the pendulum swings back the other way, it doesn't go too far and alienate that side of the public as well. People make their decisions on who they're going to vote for based on the information that they get. To me, it's extremely critical that the information on the public airwaves reflects both views, and it's not just one-sided, because that's where a lot of people get their information, driving to work, listening to the radio while they're at work, or whatever they may be doing. It's important to me that people can make a decision, that they're not coerced by being bombarded from one message that one side is better than the other. And this just takes place specifically 60 days before an election. So I just want to go based on what the law is that's in place. I don't want to change the law. I just want to see it followed, and I want everybody to be able to make an informed decision on why they're going to vote for somebody, and not have it be based on just a constant bombardment of one person is good and one person is bad. This is basically about the law that we have right now. I'd love to see everybody get more involved, and the website's right above me. Please get involved. Contact the Media Action Center. You can find out everything you need to know about what's going on here, as well as around the country. And send Sue an email. She'd love to hear from you. And this goes to anybody in any place that is concerned about what's going on in your community. This is a very local effort, and you can get a lot of fantastic information from the Media Action Center website.